Okay. Good morning. I'd like to call the November 2021 WKU Staff Senate meeting to order. I'd like to welcome all of our senators able to join us in person and virtually via Zoom, as well as our guests in the room. Thank you all for joining us. We'll get started with the formal portion of our meeting to get us started. I'll call roll. If you could just let us know if you're present. Myself, Jordan Basham, present. David Brinkley, present. Brian Campbell,
Present.
Rachel Cato,
Present.
Jordan Cole. Did Jordan join us via Zoom yet?
Should be,
I'm here,
Is he
present.
present via Zoom? Hey, Jordan, good morning.
Good morning.
Dr. Becky Crow.
Present.
Emily England,
Present.
Anthony Gilbert,
present.
Brian Gregory, via Zoom, I think. Yes, via Zoom. Cheryl Higginbooth,
Present.
Julia Johnson,
Present.
and Angie Link,
Present.
Mike Loftus, Stephanie Pritchard,
Present.
and Renee Purdy,
Present.
and Todd Seguin, I believe is via Zoom,
Here.
and Jared Smith,
Present.
Tanya Vincent,
Present.
Sierra Waller, and Jennifer Wilson.
Present.
And that concludes our roll call. So as I did some research on parliamentary procedure and best practices for our meetings, it became apparent that based on our constitution and bylaws, we have a process to set up the agenda, but not a process to make it formal. So I'd like to ask the Senate to adopt our agenda as it was distributed digitally last week and earlier this week. So if I'd entertain a motion to adopt the agenda.
So.
Brian Campbell
Second.
moved and Emily England seconded. If you would be so kind to vote in favor via a yay vote. So all those that approve,
Yay.
any opposed will be a nay. Any opposed? Okay, no nay. The agenda is adopted and we'll begin our meeting. So the first official portion of our meeting is to approve the October minutes. Those were also distributed digitally. There were corrections made to the meeting or to the minutes submitted by members, but I'd ask that we approve the October monthly meeting minutes via unanimous consent. Hearing no objection, we'll approve via unanimous consent. No objections, those minutes stand approved. All right, and the fun part of our meeting, I'd like to recognize the Communication Technology Committee for the presentation of our staff star awards.
We have 3 staff star awards today. I'd like to, we're doing it a little differently today. We're just going to stand and talk from our spots, or am I okay to?
You're good.
You're okay. Hear me. I would like to invite Tanya to talk about our first staff star.
You're good there.
Okay, so our first Christopher Ware Staff Star Award goes to Stephanie Pritchard. Stephanie is the regional advisor for WKU Glasgow. Stephanie Pritchard is the epitome of a thinker and a doer. Although technically a 10-month employee, Stephanie's commitment to students is apparent all year long. With student success at the forefront of her work, she continually thinks of ways to reach out to potential students, increase enrollment, and help students reach their academic goals. She doesn't just think of ideas, she puts in the work to make them happen, frequently being the first to volunteer to help, whether that means stuffing envelopes, making phone calls, traveling to students, setting up a booth at community events, or standing in the heat or rain to welcome students to campus on their first day. Stephanie is there. It's my pleasure to recommend Stephanie Pritchard as a staff star. Another colleague said this: Stephanie arrives to work at Glasgow at 7:17 each morning. If she doesn't, she feels as though she's late. That type of precision might tell you all you need to know about the attention to detail and how she manages so much at once. But what makes Stephanie so special is her warm personality. She represents WKU both in Glasgow and at WKU in Somerset, and is like a family with our partners at the University of Southern Kentucky at Somerset Community College. She's beloved by her student advisees and serves as staff senate, volunteers with Junior Achievement, teaching Barron County School students, and is the current staff leadership and she is in the current Staff Leadership Institute. Cheers to Stephanie. I marvel at how she gets it all done so well. I've worked with Stephanie and she is a great employee, and definitely on behalf of Staff Senate, we thank you, Stephanie, for all you do. We will get your certificate to you in WKU swag. Thank you, Stephanie.
Oh, it's right here.
Thank you. Don't mind posing for a picture of me. Small with your eyes.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's some candy to enjoy during the meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. All right, our second staff, Christopher Ware Staff Star Award goes to Jenna Akins, and I believe Jenna's over there. We'll bring her up in a sec. Jenna Akins, who is the Budget Resources Manager for the Gordon Ford College of Business. And Ms. Akins is the epitome of a supportive staff member. She has worked tirelessly with Dean Shook and all 6 department chairs and their office support staff to ensure the college's finances are on the right track. She has endured extra challenges during COVID, as she has had to work from home several times due to quarantining. However, because of her commitment to serving our college, her responsibilities never lacked attention. While she works behind the scenes, her dedication to hard work goes unnoticed. Does not go unnoticed, sorry. We are truly blessed to have Ms. Akins part of our college and commend her for all she does. Another colleague wrote, Jenna is a tremendous asset to the Gordon Ford College of Business. She is always willing to help, a joy to work with, and very skilled in her job. Jenna is an invaluable member of the Gordon Ford College of Business, and we are grateful for her contributions. Thank you, Jenna, for your support. We appreciate all that you do for WKU, and we'd love to have you come up for a photo. And I know that, I believe you have a support person here too from your department. So you're welcome to have a group shot if you like. No? All right.
Some candy to enjoy during the meeting. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much.
Our next Christopher Ware Staff Star Award goes to Amy Jewell. Amy is the Office Associate in the Undergraduate Student Services and Tutoring Center for the Gordon Ford College of Business. Ms. Jewell is the epitome of a supportive staff member. In her role, she works tirelessly to find the balance of serving our advisors, faculty, and students. She does a lot of the behind-the-scenes work with any of our college's recruiting events, ensuring the college is well represented and prospective students have a wonderful experience while on campus. She also oversees our office's student workers, teaching them how to conduct themselves professionally in an office setting. Amy's dedication and hard work does not go unnoticed. We are truly blessed to have Ms. Jewell as a part of our college and commend her for all she does. Amy goes above and beyond every single day to assist the advisors as well as students who stop by. Amy is hardworking and dedicated to each and every task. Amy is one of those people who is great at getting to the bottom of an issue if she doesn't know the answer initially. She is a problem solver who can answer way more questions than her job title entails. Amy truly cares about the work that she does, the students whom she encounters, her coworkers, and the student workers whom she oversees. Amy believes in the importance of the work that we do in Gordon Ford College of Business to make sure that our students have a great advising experience and goes above and beyond the call of duty every single day. Our advising team is blessed to have Amy. Thank you, Amy, for all you do for WKU.
And as always, I just want to thank and give a big shout out to Barnes and Noble for donating some WKU swag, as well as Marcus Dukes from University Publications for helping us with our promotional materials. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to our new business. So I'll open the floor to recognize any senators if they have new business at this time. Okay, see no new business. We'll move on to our officer, committee, and staff regents report. Regent Brinkley, if you would get us started, please.
We had committee meetings on October 22nd. So those weren't, it's not a regular board meeting. It's when the committees get together as the board and meet together in this room. Academic Affairs approved several faculty emeritus status appointments. College of Education had 6, HHS had 4, Gordon Ford had 4, Ogden had 17, Potter had 23, and the libraries had 3. Those were all approved through committee without discussion. And they were all deserving. The list was outstanding, and there was no question on any single member that was recommended to the board. That was the only action item in Academic Affairs. Finance and Budget was a little bit, it was probably the meat and potatoes of the meeting. There were several personnel actions that were put forward. I had a responsibility to abstain from that vote because there were people in our area that were up for approval. So I did not vote on that topic. There was very little discussion. And I will again take any questions related to that if there are any after I get done. The second part of that was a budget versus actual presentation. That's a quarterly update that we get from Susan. And the reason that matters is we get numbers to see where we are from, spending year to year, right? So you kind of look at a comparative analysis based on the previous year. It's been a little bit difficult. Last year was difficult. This year is difficult because of last year. Last year was difficult because of last year. But when the faculty regent and Shane Spiller and I have an opportunity to meet with Susan beforehand and really dive into that and understand the significance of those numbers. I think the university personally, and again, we're talking about the personal financial shape of the university. And Susan, correct me if I misspeak on this, but at the time of that meeting, we had 190 days of cash on hand, which is, if you own a business, you have 6 months of available cash on hand, that's a big deal. And so they have more than that. And I believe at the time of the meeting, we also had $139 million in cash in the bank. And that's another very strong total based on how we operate. So, when you talk about building the financial core of the university, these are two very strong indicators of a better financial position overall. We did reapprove or reauthorize in committee a $10 million line of credit from Truist Bank. And that's an emergency line of credit that the university had first authorized last year. And one of the Regent Henson made the comment, it's always easy to get credit when you don't need it. So we reauthorized that $10 million line of credit that can be used and replenished in an emergency fashion if we need it. They did not use it one time last fiscal year, even though they had it. But in an emergent case, it's not a bad thing to have. It can be authorized, and I believe I have this number correct, Susan, if I'm wrong, up to $87 million worth over the course of a year if you pay it off. But that's a fixed amount based on your cash on hand, a percentage of that cash on hand. So again, they have not used that line of credit. We don't anticipate that they will, but like people have noted, it's easier to get credit when you don't need it than when you need it. So we were happy reauthorizing that, certainly on the terms and lines of what had happened before. We approved an internal audit plan based on Jessie Napier's evaluation for materials she had either gone through that had been sitting dormant for a while, or a new assessment that she had been given based on feedback from surveys that she had put out. I think it's a pretty aggressive plan that has some really good pieces and parts to it. It's worth reading through on the Regent's website. It's a lot of fine print, but it's a pretty thorough list of what the internal auditor is keeping up on. And certainly remember, and I don't want to say this lightly, if you have areas of concern that you think need attention from the internal auditor, or there's a problem that she could address, by all means, reach out. We, in public media several years ago, had a problem that we specifically needed the internal auditor for, and we were very lucky that that service was available. And I cannot say enough about how valuable that is to have on this campus. In the Student Affairs Committee, there were no action items. There was an information presentation about Ethan Logan presented. It had a fair amount to do with Greek life on campus. And then an executive committee, which is the committee made up of the committee chairs minus the faculty regent and the staff regent. We by statute cannot serve on that committee. There was an amendment approved for an employment contract for baseball coach, which involved no additional money. And the process related to the presidential evaluation that the board does each year was discussed. So every year, at the end of the year, we are presented materials that the president puts together as his assessment of himself, and we do a comprehensive evaluation based on those materials. And that process has recently finished, and all regents have participated and submitted that information back, and the analysis of that is ongoing. Those were the action items and information items from the committee meetings. We'll meet again as a full board in December to vote on those as a board. So remember, this was just the preliminary approval through committee. All of the items that were addressed have to go back in front of the board in December for full approval. I have been requested, and I don't think it's bad to say this, they didn't tell me not to say it, but the staff regent and the faculty regent have been requested to be in the president's office Friday to discuss potential developments related to athletics conferences, and told there might be a regents meeting called a special meeting in the coming days. That's all the information I have. I have no specificity. I have no conference information, and I wouldn't try to speculate even if I did. So that's where we are. So that development happened this morning. Certainly, as soon as there's something to report that's legitimate, that news will be up. And as always, I will take any questions, and if anybody doesn't have any now, but think of them later, you can get me through my email address, my phone number, direct line in my office, or you can email WKU staff regent at gmail.com if you want to remain anonymous.
Awesome, thank you. Communications Officer Rachel Cato, do you have a report?
No report.
Thank you. Treasurer Emily England.
So I was not present at the last meeting during October, so I'm going to give the October treasurer's report and the November treasurer's report. So bear with me. The E&G index for at the end of September, 9/30/2021, the starting balance was $3,382.90. There were disbursements of $144.89. Those were for Aramark at $91.90 and Amazon for $52.99. The Aramark was for our mentor-mentee lunches, passes, and then Amazon was to get things for our Staff Star Awards. So the ending balance was $3,238.01. Our WKU Foundation account, the starting balance was $1,135. We had additions of $61.70. And then the ending balance for that account was $1,196.70. Our College Heights Foundation account, which is for our book scholarship, starting balance and ending balance was $1,386.40. To report briefly on the Budget and Finance Committee, I know this has already been reported on, but we made recommendations for our university committees that flow up through the finance and budget committee to the chair. So for the operation and allocation committee, we requested that Todd Seguin be placed on that. For the capital allocation committee, Ryan Gregory. And then for our budget executive committee, we have the chair, Jordan Basham, Brian Campbell, and then Brian Denning, who is already on there, and he is finishing out his term on there. The employee benefits committee that I'm on and serve on, the October meeting was canceled. Moving on to the November treasurer's report, the E&G index had a starting balance of $3,238.01. We had an Aramark disbursement of $147.04. Ending balance was $3,090.97. We have approved as the Budget and Finance Committee a $25 expense to get Julia Johnson training for taking minutes per Robert's Rules of Order. The WKU Foundation account had a starting balance of $1,196.70, and that was its ending balance. College Heights Foundation account had a starting balance of $1,386.40. It had additions of $104.80 with an ending balance of $1,491.20. I have no report for the Budget and Finance Committee, as we haven't had any meetings yet as far as the different university committees. And then the Employee Benefits Committee meeting for November is November the 17th at 3 p.m. So I will report on that next month. Thank you.
Thank you. And Cheryl Hagan, oh, I'm sorry, Anthony Gilbert, Technology, no report. Thank you, Anthony. Parliamentarian Cheryl Hagan Booth, any report from you?
No report.
Thank you. And Secretary Julia Johnson and the University Committee.
The University Committee, I'll speak on behalf of us today. We have been, most of our members have been pretty light on meetings with their university committees so far. I do have some to report. The DEI, President's DEI work group has been active and had a couple of meetings since the semester started. A couple of notable things. Next week, or this coming weekend, WKU will be hosting the Higher Equity Conference here on campus, statewide. Hopefully you've gotten emails from Molly Kirby concerning that. I think registration might have ended last week, but she might be able to fit somebody in, I suppose, if you want to get in late on that. Also, at the last meeting, they noted that the Pride Index, which they have been working to get improved, is now 4.5 out of 5, and plans were discussed to get that extra half point so we can get to 5.0. And in relation to that, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I would by procedure, but I would like to make a motion to establish a staff senate ad hoc committee purposed with the research and development of DEI initiatives for possible funding by the WKU staff Senate WKU Foundation account. And for it to include 2 members of each standing committee within the staff Senate in order to research and develop these ideals and look at possible ways of fundraising.
A motion's been made to create a staff senate ad hoc committee with relation to DEI initiatives.
Second.
Motion seconded. This motion is debatable and amendable. I'll open the floor to the motion maker, Jared, if you have any debate to support.
I'll just a short bit. I think it's a natural and a good way for our with our goal of the WKU Foundation account being one of them being professional development. I think it's a wonderful possibility for use of that for professional development and contributing to being able to contribute more to the president's work group on DEI work group. And simply, I just think it would be a good start for the staff senate working on some of these initiatives.
Any debate in dissent? Any other debate in support?
I just asked for a clarification about like what specifically, I mean, I'm obviously familiar with the committee, but what professional development ideas are you all thinking about? Like, what would that
I think that's, I have had some stuff in mind, as I've sat in with the work group, and that was my reason for the development of the committee to get more ideals. I have a couple in place, but it would just be stuff that or things that I think that would promote diversity, equity, inclusion within the staff, whether it be training or different items. But I felt like a good spread across the committees would give us multiple ideals, a lot of which I probably have not thought of. So.
Okay, I'm just curious because I present at Staff Senate or Staff Leadership Institute around diversity, and I just was curious what people were thinking about for, obviously I'm a proponent and want to see this move the needle for staff and how we view each other and how we can affect change on campus. So I'm just asking because I want it to be purposeful and move the needle for staff. So great.
Any other senators like to be heard on that? Seeing none, we'll move on to vote. All those in favor, vote via yay.
Yay.
Okay. Any opposed, please vote via nay. Okay, motion passes. According to our Constitution and bylaws, the chair can appoint members of ad hoc committees. Jared, I'd like to ask you to serve as chair for this ad hoc committee, and then work with me to collect other members, and we'll report back on that at the next monthly meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you. Vice Chair Tanya Vincent, do you report for the Workforce Committee?
The Workforce Committee met this morning. We discussed with the departure of one of our senators, they were needing 2 new members of the Benefits Committee. So we are suggesting to the chair, Angie Link, and myself, Tanya Vincent, to be on the Benefits Committee. We also, for the Workforce Committee, the Project Mentorship, since August, we have paired 14 new staff members with 14 current members. They were all received free lunch, and I have some positive feedback. They've enjoyed meeting. I still have 3 new employees that I do not have mentors for. So if anyone is wanting to sign up, just send me an email or send an email to the Staff Senate. It's a great way to connect with other people and also welcome new employees on campus. We are still continuing to work with HR with the departure of their training coordinator. We're kind of at a standstill. I have been told that that position is going to be filled. So we look forward to working with HR in the future to help get some initiatives in the different policies. I know that they've got a lot on their plate right now. So we're kind of just, and with benefits being open right now, they got a lot going on. So we're still working together to try to come up with new ideas for the employees of Western. So I think that's it.
Thank you. For the chair report, switch over to my notes. So I sent out an email last week with a video for Robert's Rules of Order. If you haven't had a chance to look at that yet, it's about an hour-long training that does a pretty good job of explaining the basics. I just had some interest in improving my skill set with that and helping us enhance the efficiency of our meetings. And I found it helpful, and it's something I could share out. So hope others find it helpful as I did. We did not have an October meeting with the president. That meeting had to be canceled due to another issue. His attention needs to be on that day. Our next scheduled meeting is the 3rd Tuesday of November. I believe that's the 16th in the afternoon. So we'll report back on that meeting. And then our December monthly meeting, that'll be December 1st. I was requested to appoint 2 members of the Senate to 2 searches on campus. Brian Campbell volunteered or accepted my request really to serve on an admissions related search for the new director of admissions position. And Angie Link was kind enough to agree to serve on a search for the new Chief Human Resources Officer position. Their work in that will be greatly appreciated. I know they'll both be very involved, but as they're able to report on that, will be a bit of a question, because of course searches are confidential. So we'll probably at the conclusion of those searches that they can provide us information. I'll point out that I've had various conversations with some of you here about a range of topics over the last, I guess, like 3 weeks since our last meeting. The range has probably had really, compensation to COVID, 2 Cs, but a lot of things in between. So appreciate staff on campus taking time to talk to members of the Senate and for senators bringing those things to our attention that we might be able to provide answers to or help direct to a resource to find an answer. Clearly, many of those topics are still ongoing. A lot of the issues don't get solved in a day, as we all know. It's a lot of hard work, and I appreciate everyone's time on that and trust as well. I'll add for our viewers remotely, we'll announce some details in the spring, but there'll be another set of staff Senate elections that'll occur in the spring. I encourage you to talk about that with your colleagues, and maybe find a couple good people who some terms will expire and some people will time out. But the next set of senators are certainly here already, because you have to be an employee for 12 months before, so they're already here now. So just think about having some of those conversations. That'll conclude the chair report for the month, and we'll move on to announcements and notable events. Immediately following this meeting, we'll have a Staff Senate Fall Workshop. Our next Staff Senate Executive Committee meeting is November 10th via Zoom at 9:30 a.m. And the next Staff Senate meeting is December 1st. We'll be back in DSU 2081, and that meeting will also be on YouTube. I'll encourage members of the staff to visit our website. If you have a staff member that you might think be deserving of the Christopher Ware Staff Star Award, certainly submit an application or nomination for that individual. And as Jared pointed out, WKU will host the Higher Equity Conference next week.
November the 16th.
Oh, starting November 16th.
I
We
think
got
that's the wrong day.
Okay, well, just, I'll point everybody to Molly Kirby's previous emails. And anyone can reach out to her for more information if they have questions after that. Are there any other announcements the Senate needs to bring to anyone's attention?
And don't forget about the spring book scholarship. Rachel's put that in the announcements. It's open right now for nominations and will close
January 1st.
January 1st. So definitely apply for the book scholarship.
Thank you.
Jordan, I
Yes.
apologize. I think I had an item that might have been for new business, but
Oh, no,
I'm
that's
not
okay.
sure. So I wanted to bring that. And then is this, real quickly, just to noting, but we approved the staff senate agenda, but is the next staff senate meeting at 9 or 10? We're usually at 10 and it says 9. So I just wanted to clarify.
10.
10,
Thank
okay. So we probably, I don't know if we need to amend
Yeah,
the
that,
agenda approval. I don't know that it's that technical, but
I don't think so.
okay.
In my mind, I try to show up by 9.
Yeah, well,
So
I know.
I
yeah.
appreciate
I
the
didn't
point,
look at it.
pointing that out. Thank you.
Yeah.
So that meeting on December 1st will be at 10. Thank you. I would be a little upset if I cost everybody an extra hour.
That's okay.
So I appreciate it.
And then I had a couple staff call, and again, I don't know the protocol, so
It's okay.
if
We're
this
all-
is incorrect, then you all tell me. I had a couple staff reach out to me to talk about like fall break. On behalf of staff. So fall break, of course, offices are open, but faculty are gone, students are generally gone. So they were proposing that maybe staff, and I don't know how this, again, I don't know how all this goes, but that they're recommending that maybe we have those 2 days off as well, and or we get one of those days off as like a, I don't know, I guess not compensation, but that staff might be considered in the mix during fall break.
Okay.
Now, again, I know being a director of 2 departments, I don't know what the university wants the counseling center open and they want the SARC open and they want our offices open, obviously. So I forgot to bring this to and I guess I should have brought that at new business. So I apologize for the mix up.
That's okay. I think
So I don't know how that works, but I wanted to bring that to the staff senate from colleagues, from our
Okay.
fellow staff.
I think an idea like that, it might work best function wise to prefer like to have a discussion with the committee. I think that would probably fall in workforce maybe.
Okay,
And then
perfect.
kind of workshop concept around that.
okay,
And then
perfect.
just, like, refine the idea a little bit,
Okay,
if that works.
so I'll share that with,
I'll, Tanya is the chair of workforce committee and Mike.
I should have talked about it when we were sitting out there. Tanya. I didn't think about
That's fine.
Okay.
I think that would probably be the best way.
it. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
I will do that then. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you bringing that up. We're all learning how this works, myself included. So certainly if you feel like you're gonna say something at the wrong time, still say it, right? And we'll figure out together how to get through it the best way. So I think that if no one else has any issues, especially since I just said that, so feel free. Definitely, but if not, I think we'll adjourn our monthly meeting. Okay? Motion adjourned, second. I did learn, I don't think we have to do that.